People say, you know, like, money doesn't bring happiness. And I'm kind of changing my views on that. I've spoken before quite extensively about a study from the US that found that $75,000 per year is the cutoff in which any increase in income after that does not yield a higher level of happiness. Apparently, there have been other studies that have come out that have kind of disproven that in a way, and have shown that more money does actually lead to more happiness, which I think is interesting. I think from what I can make of that right now is $75,000 isn't that much. I mean, it's enough to cover your expenses and, you know, save a bit so you have a bit of security and maybe, you know, go on a holiday. But it's, you know, in the US, 75,000, I mean, in Australia, 75,000 is not even average, or probably is average. Last time I looked, 90,000 was the average. So in Australia, 75 is like that's your point. I don't know where I'm walking right now. Anyways, in the US, 50,000 is the average. So I started thinking, you know, like 75,000, it's not that much. More money could probably get you, you know, more comfortability, more security, more happiness, I guess. But I think the thing is, it's not so much about buying new material things. I don't think that's the thing that makes you happy. I don't think more cars and more trips and bigger houses and more handbags and more clothes and more this and more that, I don't think that's the thing that makes someone more happy. I think having more money eliminates stress. That's what I think it does. I don't necessarily think it leads to more happiness because you can buy more things, you know. Like I said, another car, a bigger house, more trips, more clothes. I don't think that's the thing that makes someone happy. I think not having to stress about money is what leads to more happiness, right? Because a massive contributing factor to happiness, and firstly, we don't even know how to define happiness, so we can't even agree on a definition because there's so many factors. It's multifaceted, right? One facet of it is stress. If you're high in stress, your levels of happiness are going to be lower. If you're lower in stress, your levels of happiness are going to be higher. That's pretty self-explanatory, and that's one facet of happiness among many others. And I think the fact that having financial security eliminates a lot of stress is a huge contributing factor to more money making someone happier. I don't think it's having more things. I really don't. I think it's the financial security which eliminates stress, that, and the autonomy it gives you. I mean, we'd all love to wake up and go where we want and do what we want. You know, I remember, it's funny, I'm bringing this story up because I only just remembered it this morning after having a conversation with someone, and I thought it's pretty relevant to what I'm speaking about now. But I remember one day when I was working in corporate, like in the city, and I was doing some job I hated. I didn't necessarily hate the workplace and stuff. The workplace was great, but I wasn't interested in the work, and I knew I wanted to travel. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to pursue my interests, but I didn't think at the time. I didn't think that was possible. I thought, like, you're 25 now, you've graduated from uni, grow up, work your 9 to 5. You got to start saving for a house or an investment or whatever, on and on. So I didn't think it was possible that I could go and, pursue my interests. I thought that was just like a pipe dream of Peter Pan. Anyways, I remember walking to the office one morning, and I was in, I think it was Wynyard, and I was walking out of Wynyard into Barangaroo, because that's where my office was. And from Wynyard to Barangaroo, you walk through like this tunnel. It's quite a large tunnel, it's a long tunnel. And I remember walking one morning, and it was just dead silent. Hundreds of people walking through this tunnel, but it was dead. So all I could hear was the march of everyone's feet. And it was almost like it was in sync, this march. It's all I could hear. I couldn't hear anything else. And it kind of hit me when I heard the marching and stuff. It was like, fuck. This is almost like a form of slavery. Like the slaves are in their shackles and they're marching towards their offices or their cubicles to work a job so they can fund their next iPhone or handbag or a car that is too expensive or a house that's too big. And it was at that moment where I'm like, what is this life that we're living? Like this 9 to 5 kind of thing. And I'm not diminishing 9 to 5s and corporate work and office work, because there are a lot of people who don't mind working within that framework, and they make good livings and they're living great lives. So I'm not diminishing it in any way. I'm just saying from my perspective. And it was in that moment where I'm like, holy shit. Like, from my perspective, this is slavery. For me, this is slavery. I'm marching to my cubicle every morning. Same thing, same place, same time, every day. Not on my terms, on my boss's terms. I have to do what my boss says. I have to be in the office at my cubicle when my boss says. I have to leave my cubicle when my boss says. I have to do the work that my boss says, regardless of whether I'm interested in the work or not. And it's like, all of that just for a paycheck, just to fund a lifestyle that, I don't want to be. For me personally, I didn't want to be living. And that kind of gave me insight into, the slave mind in a way, whereby a lot of people are doing things every day, working jobs that are English? No. Of me, not here. I think I walked into the wrong area. I think the guy thinks I'm filming. He's military. You're not allowed to film military. But no, I'm filming myself. I explained that to him. There's no one in here, so must have walked into a forbidden area. No one told me otherwise. There's cars here. See kids. But, brother, I'm not filming. I'm filming me. Filming me. Yeah. Okay. That was a bit of an ordeal. They're alright though. People are pretty good here. Pretty reasonable. Anyways. So that really, I thought about that this morning. And I think the difference between some of the work that we do in Western countries, and I think this may be a contributing factor to why there's this perception that people are happier in third world countries than they are in the West, which I don't necessarily agree with.